About people when you declare that you're not going to live your life their way. And many in this room know the consequences of doing something so shocking and controversial as to be an individual, a singular voice, an often inquisitive voice with its own tenor, its own style, its own song, and its own message. You and I live in a world where conformity is comfort, and we all know how comfortable people can become. So many voices out there today are just an echo of previous voices. A hand-me-down from a previous generation, and the generation before, and the generation before. Breaking that cycle to them is unthinkable. And why would they ever consider it, as the cloak they've inherited feels so safe and warm? Everyone around them looks like them, walks like them, talks like them. Everyone except for you. They nod in agreement, you raise an eyebrow of doubt. They just know the answer. You just know the answer raises a whole lot more questions. They take security in staying on the path. You want to go carve a path of your own. But this is not what was expected of you, or many of you. They laid out the guidelines for a proper person to live, and they were going to make sure that you turned out right no matter what. Maybe this was a parent or some sort of a guardian, a pastor or mentor. So what happened to you? At this very moment, mothers and fathers carry embarrassment and shame that they failed as a parent, because you left the straight and narrow. You were co-opted and corrupted because you rewrote the playbook in a language they consider to be foreign, shameful, confusing, and ugly. You had two choices in your life. You could keep the peace and you could line up with the others, or you could walk at your own pace, in your own direction, for your own reasons, and accept the consequences and rewards that come with being your own person. And the fallout for many of you has been significant. These days, when they look at you, they only see what they think you should have been, what you might have been, what you could have been if only you had lived your life their way. They speak the words of love, but just barely, just barely. And by lacing it with distance and disdain, they cheapen the word. In fact, when they look at you and they say, I love you, you get that bitter taste in your mouth like you've just been schmoozed by a politician whose only real desire is to get you to change your vote. Yeah, they love you, but the full package, the 100% love, the unfiltered love, well, that's going to be kept on reserve until you straighten up, until you do it their way, until you start acting normal. Well, for just a second, my friends, let's look at normal, shall we? Normal is a husband and wife married per the Bible, in a church and under God, condemning non-heterosexuals for ignoring and even desecrating the lawful and ordained marital union that they now enjoy after 2 divorces. It's a mother telling her daughter that sex is dirty, that her body is dirty and shameful, that sexual desire is lust, it's a sin, and that she is cursed by the fall of Eve in the garden, a byproduct of sin designed to gain her worth from a future husband who, according to God in the book of Genesis, will rule over her. It's a Sunday school teacher frightening a 6-year-old with stories of the devil and a fiery hell. It's refusing to purchase a new car without first test driving 15 vehicles from 6 different car lots and checking the vehicle history and the payment book and the insurance and the safety record and Carfax and everything else, but accepting the Bible as absolute fact without even knowing who wrote the book of Genesis. It's a church communion ritual where men, women, and children get together to ritualistically eat flesh and drink blood. How was this normal? It was normal. And now you look at it through the looking glass the other way and you go, oh my God, how screwed up is that? It's thanking God for food grown and prepared by human hands. It's giving God the glory for providing the new home that came with a 30-year mortgage. It's praying for safety after you buckle your seatbelt, lock your doors, and load your handgun. It's Sunday school songs, it's a Bible on the nightstand, it's a check on the offering plate, an evangelist on the TV, a Jesus fish on your car, and a t-shirt that says 7 days without Jesus makes 1 week. I believe this is a prison designed to look like a mansion, and you're not going to live like that. You've read the books and you've seen the history and learned the science and realized the world is much grander than most people ever imagine. You finally found your own voice and you're going to speak in it. You've had the epiphany that you don't owe it to the rest of the world to keep them happy. You owe it to you and your loved ones to create happiness. And even though wherever and whenever you can, you say the words and you take the actions that build bridges and soften the sharp edges and demonstrate a love for people and a desire for a better world, you are not a sheep to be led, an echo to be repeated, a cautionary tale, a bad example, a freak, a pervert, shameful, broken, ugly. You are not ugly. You're beautiful. You figured out what so many billions, literally billions of other people have missed. That life's too precious to spend in somebody else's shadow. That by judging everyone and everything that's different, you only indict your own shallow heart. And you cheat yourself out of the amazing depth, breadth, color, culture, and humanity that's so much more wonderful than the tiny rooms people lock themselves into and the narrow tunnels they walk. That believing in things without evidence, faith is not a virtue. Faith is not a virtue. It's something to be pitied. That sexuality isn't shameful. It is something to be celebrated. That the condemnation of what is wrong, even when it is called sacred, is the obligation of any and every moral creature. That your hopes, dreams, desires, loves, pursuits, and passions belong to you and you alone. That you've stepped out of the crowd to stand forward, to stand out, and to stand your ground. To know that even though you occupy a tiny speck, inside a tiny speck, inside this vast universe, and even though you don't believe your father is a divine king who can do magic, and that your name is written in the heavens and you'll one day die and inherit a mansion, you've discovered that your life is wonderful and amazing and so much more satisfying. It's a life where every day brings a new opportunity to ask the ultimate question. Now, is that kind of life easy? Is it popular? Probably not. But be encouraged, my friends, because inside this 13.7 billion-year-old universe, there has never, ever been anyone exactly like you, and there never will be again. And you are simply living a unique life that reflects that fact. And while others laugh at you because you are different, you can laugh at them because they are all the same.